exclusively based on what they were wearing, what
Correct.
they were taming? Is that kind of the crux of why you're here today?
That's part of it, because in order to be guilty of the offense of engaging in organized crime, you have to be more than merely present. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter who you're associating with. The issue is whether or not these people met for the purpose of criminal activity. And they would have to prove that each and every one of those 177 persons arrested were there for a purpose rather than just merely present.
What is your understanding of what's going to happen to the rest of the cases that weren't indicted last week?
Not a
We do not
clue.
know.
Grand
We do
jury
not know.
meets in secret. They don't tell us anything.
Has everyone here, everyone's client was indicted last week, or is there anybody who's still waiting?
I'm not sure. Do we have any unindicteds? A few, yeah.
So are those, I was looking for some motions to be filed after the 6 months or 180 days, whatever it is, where you get free from your bond conditions. Is any of that going to be happening anytime soon?
Again, can't talk to individual cases. I don't know what the other people are planning, and we're not allowed to speak
There's
about
a
our
lot of
cases.
strategy involved and what to do and stuff, and that's an individual decision each attorney has to make based on the circumstances of their defendant, so.
How important is it to, you said obviously the indictments have come down now, so there's discovery. How important is it to learn how those 9 men died, or is that even?
Critically.
It's, yeah.
Critically important.
Can you talk about that?
It's just critically important, and you know, we don't have all that information.
We don't have the ballistics reports yet.
But that is extremely important.
What's your best case scenario?
I win the lottery and retire.
The district attorney dismisses the cases against everybody.
Oh, you're saying-
immediately.
talking to the microphone.
I'm sorry. That the district attorney immediately dismiss all cases where he has no evidence that anybody committed a crime. That's the best thing.
What is next? Are you waiting for the DA to set, I mean, now that the grand jury has returned with the indictments, are there going to be do you know what the next step is in terms of what's going to happen at the courthouse?
No.
Not a clue. Again, we're still waiting for the others to get indicted,
Or not getting it.
or not get indicted, yeah. We're waiting for them to report out of the grand jury. That's probably the more appropriate way to put it.
And has the DA given you any indication that he wants to try all of these? I imagine you guys would fight it tooth and nail, but have you gotten any indication that, oh, we're going to do one trial for 100 people?
No.
No, he has not told us that he won't try them all.
We have no idea.
Well, is there anything when you were looking through your discovery and you said, "Ooh, I wish Mr. Broden or I wish Mr. Looney or I wish somebody hadn't said that because this looks worse than I thought." Anything like that?
You know, here's the thing, I've been a lawyer for 30
Well,
years.
yeah.
There's no way the two lawyers could work together on a case, even my partner and I even, and not have a disagreement about how to proceed. So there's not always one right way to do things. You know, my partner wants to throttle me all the time for stuff I say. That's just part of being a lawyer.
So
That's why I'm the sole practitioner.
So how are you 30 of you standing there? If you can't agree with 2, how are you going to agree with 30?
You know, it makes our job fun.
Well, is there actual agreement here that you're going to announce, or y'all going to do afterwards, where you're getting together and you're going to come up with a joint statement? In fact, some kind of coalition, some kind of agreement? I mean, we hear that, or are you just simply saying, we all agree we want the process to be clear and fair?
There's no agreement like
Okay,
you said. No.
all right. Due to
In
the
terms
amount.
of discovery, you mentioned the ballistics report. You haven't seen it yet. You're waiting for that. You believe there's more video the video that you haven't seen perhaps. I mean, can you just touch on
Well,
that?
we don't know if there are any other videos
Okay.
out there, simply because we don't know what we haven't been told about
So
yet.
discovery-wise,
So
what are you waiting
discovery-wise, we're waiting for the ballistics reports to come back, and those are critical. We have 9 people that are dead. We need to know what bullets killed which people. We need to know which guns fired those bullets that killed those people. Were they bullets from persons in the clubs, or were they bullets from the police? We don't know. And that's absolutely critical to these cases, because each of our clients has been accused of murder, and in the indictments, every single person who died out there was listed as a victim. Every single person who was injured was listed as a complainant. We need to know which bullets did what injuries.
Do you have any Dashcams videos yet? You seen any of those?
We can't comment on things like that.
You can't comment on those, but you can leak them out, or somebody can.
I can tell you that I did not leak them out, and I think
Nor did
that
But
Yeah,
you-
and I can't speak for anybody else,
Well, you
but
just
I
told
don't
us
think it
that-
would be appropriate to leak those out, and I don't think a defense attorney would.
You just told us you didn't have the ballistics report. I'm asking you, do you have the dash cams? What's the difference?
Oh, I thought you were asking what was on the dash
No,
cams. Oh.
do you have those?
I do have some, yes, and no, I can't give them to you.
My next-
And I won't leak them either.
Is it normal for the ballistics to take this amount of time to get into y'all's hands?
No, but there's usually not this, you know.
I'm gonna say yes and no.
Yeah, yes and
I
no,
mean,
yeah.
It really does vary from case to case. You can't,
Yeah.
you know, while they're all criminal cases, they're still apples, oranges, and bananas. So it may take one county a week to get done, it may take another county 6 weeks to get done because of the sheer volume. And, because even though it might all be the same report, you're gonna have 177 different reports that have to be generated.
Well, let me tell you
So
this.
it will
too.
take some time.
Here's one problem that we have in Texas, all over the state, is that there are not enough labs to get the work done. And we have to wait months and months and months for every sort of forensic test. And it's absolutely ridiculous that there's not enough resources spent to do that. So when you multiply that by 177 people at the same time, it's not an excuse for this to take that long, but it contributes to the problem.
Because of the volume, is there a chance of a change of venue just to ease the justice system of these people going through?
There's been some talk of it, but nothing definite yet. I mean, it's always a possibility, but nothing has been discussed in all.
Judge, have you ever seen a case with a volume anywhere near this much? I mean, it's almost unprecedented, isn't it?
I believe it is now. I mean, they had the cases in Midland where there were a number of cases because there were a number of victims. And so, and there were a lot of defendants, and I don't know how many in those sister wife cases. I can't remember what the names of those were. But I don't know how many of those were, but I don't even think that's as much as this. No, I never have. I never thought I would be involved in a mass litigation involving this situation. And this absolutely unprecedented.
Just in terms, just so we have a little bit of background, can you, both Susans, would you mind just the number of the, of clients you represent in this case? Do you each represent 3 or 5 of the accused, or just so we?
So, I mean, several.
Yeah, our clients have asked us not to discuss.
Several.
Yeah.
You each represent multiple?
Correct.
Okay.
Have you had any challenges? You mentioned that you have some concerns about the process. Has this made your job more challenging to represent your clients and prove that they're innocent, or start working on that?
It's made it more fun, that's for sure.
I'm not sure, you mean because of the amount of...
Because you're saying that you have concerns about how the process has
I mean, it does. There's unique challenges to this case. Some of them are common to these cases, some of them are unique. Makes our job interesting.
And it really is a lot more fun because I love doing what I do. I love
Nobody's gonna
this.
say we don't have to prove they're innocent.
Yes.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna stand here with their hands in their lap. We don't have to prove they're innocent.
They have to
They're
prove they're
innocent
guilty.
until proven guilty.
That's true.
Can you identify yourself, ma'am? Who are you?
Monica Bishop.
Monica Bishop.
We've been given the, I think we take one more question.
Well, I hate to put it this way, but I guess most of us here were hoping we could come here and hear something new today.
Yeah.
And we really hadn't heard anything new. Can you give us something new?
We'd like to get something new ourselves.
I mean, why are you doing this now? Are you guys coming together now and having this now instead of
Well, the
having?
grand jury just recently issued the indictments, what I want to say last week, or something very, very recently. And so there's certain things in the process that trigger the next step, trigger the next step. So that was something that happened on their end. And so now this triggers things that we need to do. And so this is where we are in the process.
What do you expect to happen next?
I have no idea.
Not a clue.
Actually, in the end, I expect all or most of them to be exonerated. I hope it's not a long process, but I don't know what to expect.
And the folks supporting you here today, can you just describe why the group and tell us who they represent?
Well, there's the organization of the Texas Criminal Defense Lawyers. They're here as a support. These are individual lawyers from around the state. Some of them are solo practitioners, some of them are in law firms. I'm sorry, is that what you're asking me?
Yes,
They're from all over the state, lawyers from all over the state.
supporting you in this.
I'm from Gallup, like where am I from?
I know, and they're all here because we all represent people accused.
Right.
Judge, one last question for me. If you could just write my headline, okay? You just write my headline, and you know that we are in the Twitter and social media age in which everybody's minds stop after about 15 seconds. So what is your sentence that you want to say to, you said at the beginning, we want you, the media, to be a part of this process. So what would you say if I said, you get to write my headline from this event?
Lawyers say it's time to give us the evidence if you got it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
System broken.
How are you? Oh, you bet. It's hard for me to hold back, to be honest with
Nice to meet you. I'm still waiting to win that lottery.
Yes, and it hasn't stopped.